Right
I
on
don't
that
get
one.
that. That's all I buy. I don't buy the other that stuff.
Yeah, because this paper, this is going
Yeah,
so
it's
fast.
buyer buying. Ah,
We are live.
all right, all right. Peace, everyone.
Peace, everybody. Peace, everybody. Welcome to my TV-DMV, my University. This is our sixth episode of etymology, and I like saying civics, but you have another name for it, and it's all good too.
Well, yeah,
So,
civics is
what's going
fine.
on, Abdullah? How was your week?
Oh, my week been doing. I'm doing good. I've been still doing the outreach with TikTok, Instagram. I reached 5,000. I got a
All
thousand on
right.
TikTok. Yeah, 5 weeks I was able to come have 1,000 followers. So I'm able to do more, more extended lives as a result
What are you
of
on
this.
TikTok? Because I think I have your
Oh yeah, more civil letter on TikTok,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Moore's and Masonry on Instagram, and Abdullah Bay on Facebook.
Okay, may have to update.
Yeah, yeah, more civil letter, one L, civil letter, one word. Yes, that's been 19. I've had that more civil letter since 1995. It was a newsletter, more
Uh-huh.
civil that name, and
Okay.
then yeah, so, but the TikTok is I've downloaded TikTok on June 6th.
Cool. So what do we have to look forward to tonight on
Oh yes, so we're going to continue with the etymology lessons.
Yay?
As you know that I deal with methodology. It's not about throwing a bunch of random words.
Mm-hmm.
It's methodology. It's not about just looking up. It's methodology on when you studying etymology. So we're going to talk. It's a systematic way of learning vocabulary. So we're going to do some review,
Mm-hmm.
on the skill tonight,
Okay.
dealing with the prefix, root word, suffix, word combinations, and patterns. So we're gonna get
Wonderful.
right to it. Now, what is the word pattern? And this is for two or 3 weeks ago, and teaching the word pattern. And I mentioned that we'll start with an animal with a children, head, body, tail,
Mm-hmm.
and the head is the root. The uh,
I can't hear you.
can you hear me? Somebody just called me. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now. Yes.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
I'm going to go back out.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
All right. Yeah, we're back.
Can you hear me?
So, as I mentioned 2 or 3 weeks ago, I
Okay.
was um, I was paid by my etymology student in 2006. In the fall of 2006, the uh, uh, the year my daughter was born. In fact, the fall she was born on Halloween 2006,
Mm-hmm.
and my etymology student paid me to tutor her 7-year-old twin granddaughters, Maya and Trinity.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said 2 or 3 weeks ago, that I was teaching them the way I was taught, using the number line, zero being you place the root word, and then your first to the left is the one first prefix and second prefix and so forth. And they weren't getting that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I went to the lab, my mind, that week, the file, and then I came back. I had my daughter's mother drawing. She's an artist, art teacher, draw an animal on
Mm-hmm.
the horse, a horse for me. So so that's where the head, body, tail comes from. And so when I used the animal, they were able to get it. So I
Mm-hmm.
started with the head, body, tail concept, because that's more, the number line is too abstract for them.
Mm-hmm.
7 years old at the time, where the animal is more concrete. head, body, tail, and then you relate the word the head with word prefix, body with root word, and tail with suffix. So when we say what is the word pattern, we can go to the next one, and then I'll give you some examples of what I mean. What is the word pattern? These are examples of word patterns. That means that a word that has you're gonna determine by looking at the word if the pattern, if does it has a prefix root pattern, a prefix root suffix pattern, a root suffix pattern, a root suffix pattern, and so forth. All right. So that means what is the pattern of the word? All right. Next.
Oh, writing.
Mm-hmm. All right. Now, when I'm gonna. This is in teaching children. You want to do something like this and having words that are related, not some random list. Something like in this form. That's this structure where the words you see here, they all have the same root word. So
Mm-hmm.
you just want to build their confidence. You know, as start with something that's not so advanced. All right. Like here, so here we have here Bob the Builder. They can relate to that. Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder is a construction worker. All right. So the word struck means build. Means build. That's why I have here Bob the Builder struck build. So we have the first word construct. So that pattern is head prefix,
Mm-hmm.
body root word. So con is the prefix, which is the head, and struck is the root word or body. So that's that the pattern is prefix root pattern. The next one, construction. Construction. So we have con head prefix, struck body, shun the ion is the suffix. So so that they can see that, because what you just did was add a suffix to it, thereby creating the head, body, tail, or prefix, root word, suffix pattern. We have reconstruction. Reconstruction. So what do we do here? We added what to get them to recognize what was done. So we have construct, construction, reconstruction. Now you would have to, for an animal, you would have to put like a ribbon on the nose. You would put a ribbon on the nose, because now we have two prefixes, because re is now added. We have two prefixes. So it's prefix, prefix, root, suffix. So we have here ribbon on the nose. All right. We have head, body, tail. Ribbon on the nose, head, body, tail. So we have the ribbon that we placed on the nose of the horse or animal, or another animal, the head, body, and tail, because there's two prefixes. All right. So I'm doing, because this is Sister Najma once she wanted me to do this, and how do we teach the children this? How do we teach the children? And teaching the children, this is also teaching the adults. I can use the same methodology in teaching the adults, but this is how you would teach the children, and this is why you would use an animal, use concrete, all right? You can even get a a stuffed animal. You
Mm-hmm.
can actually use a stuffed animal or a drawing of an animal. A stuffed animal, I had a drawing, but I would recommend a stuffed animal too. I would recommend a stuffed animal, and you can with a stuffed animal. Let me just speak on the stuffed animal.
Mm-hmm.
You would get Velcro. You get Velcro. So I got it because I have to also instruct them how to do it. You would get Velcro, and you would have you would have the index cards, and you put
Okay.
that on the animal. All right, because the more concrete, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly for if you're dealing with a 4 or 5 year old, as this can be taught to 4 years old, 5 year old, absolutely. So the more concrete, the better, because they can feel the animal. They can actually put the card on the animal. They could touch it. So it's more interactive. All
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah,
So
great idea.
all right.
Next, you ready?
Next. No, let me finish. Let me finish that. Let's Najma.
Okay.
Deconstruct. So we have here Bob the Builder again. Bob the Builder. He builds. So he is putting, constructing. All right. So when you tear it down, you are deconstructing. When you build it again, you are reconstructing. So you build, you tear down or deconstruct, all right, and you rebuild, that's reconstruct. All right. So we are tearing down, deconstruct. So we have once again, we have prefix or ribbon on the nose, head, body, or prefix, root word.
Mm.
All right. Prefix, root word is the pattern or ribbon on the nose of the animal, head, and body. Now I have to do it this way because we want to be able to teach children. We have grandchildren, we have children our own. We also want to teach children. So I have to give both ways of teaching children and teaching the adults. We can't leave the children out. Deconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
Deconstruction, we have the pattern, it's the same as reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
The pattern deconstruction is the same pattern as reconstruction. So you want to point that out. What is the relationship? What is the relationship between reconstruction and deconstruction? They have the same pattern: prefix, root, suffix, or ribbon on the nose, head, body, tail. All right. And this again can be taught. I've done it, y'all. So I'm not saying it. I've done it to 4 years old, 5 year old, 6 year old, 7. It can be done. That's why I'm telling you how you do it. It's how it's done. It's how it's done. Not that it can't be done. It's how it's done. That's why I'm suggesting the animal, and then doing this way where the words are related. The words are related here. All right. Next slide, Najma. All right, Bob the Builder. All right, we have here port. Port is the root word, means carry. Port means carry. So we have here the first word, transportation. Transportation. What is the pattern? We have head, body, tail, or prefix, root word, suffix. Trans is the head or prefix. Port is the root word. And ation is the tail or suffix. Now, what about the second one? Transport. So we have they can now so they know the first. They know that the first pattern, the first transportation is head, body, tail. The prefix, root word, suffix. Transport is head, body,
Mhm.
head, body. We have the third one, deportation. You see how I see the words that I'm using, so that so again, you don't want to make it. You want to make it to build up their confidence. Deportation. We have deport. So once they see that, they see the pattern in transportation,
Mhm.
transport, then we have deportation, deport. So we have head, body, tail, or prefix, root word, suffix, and deport we have head and body, or prefix, root word. Import, same thing. All right, import, and we have importation. And you see how I flipped it, so just the, so it's not, they can have some type of, they can, they think, but see so the pattern's already set. So you have prefix, you say, well, man, that's too easy. Well, you want it to be that way. You got to build their confidence. You
Mhm.
don't, please don't. You got to have you got to have something of this nature. You got to build their confidence. You know, and importation. All right, import. We have head, which is M, or prefix, port of body, or root. We have importation. We have the pattern is prefix, root word, suffix, or head, body, tail. Export, and we have exportation. Export as head, X is the prefix, or head, and port is the body. Exportation, head, body, tail pattern. X is the head or prefix, port is the body or root, and ation, ATION, is the suffix or tail. Then we have report, root report, re is the root word, is the prefix, and port is the body or root word. We have support. We have S-O-S-U-P, is the head or prefix, and port is the body. All right, so see how, so I use the words that have the same prefix, all right? I mean, same root word, but we have different prefixes, all right? Different prefixes, and we pretty much the same suffix, but different. What's different is the different prefixes. So we have here, trans means across, D, port, D means away,
Mhm.
M means into, X means out, right? Or out of, and re means again, and SUP means under. All right. So carry across, carry away,
Mhm.
carry into, import, carry out of, export. All right. Carry again, report, carry under, support. All right.
Got it.
And then you can actually do, so we have carry across, carry away, carry into, carry out of,
Mhm.
carry again, carry under. So this is why you want to. This is why I'm presenting it this way, so we can make it easy for you to teach the children.
Great.
Next, Bob the Builder. We have here C, stand, STA, which means stand. STA is the root word. We have stable, stability, stabilize, stabilization, instability. All right. So we here The first is body is body and tail, or root word suffix sta,
Mm-hmm.
and b is the root, ble is the suffix. Stability, sta, bil. So sta is the root, bil is the suffix, ity is the second suffix. So we have here the pattern: head, tail, ribbon on the tail. Head, tail. The brothers have linked to live. I'll get with him. I
What'd
sent
you
it to
say?
him. Brother, I gotta send this brother the link. I sent it to him already. But yeah, I'll continue. Yes, stable, sta, stability, sta. If this pattern is root word,
Mm-hmm.
suffix, suffix, root word, suffix, suffix, or body, tail, ribbon on the tail. All right, because it has two suffixes.
Is the stay,
Stabilization.
the first stay is the head or the
Yeah, the first it's the yeah, sta is the head.
okay,
It's the root word. Sta is the root word.
got it.
We see it at the top. Sta is the root word. So we have the stabilize. We have stabilize. It's the same pattern. Stabilize is the, so we have sta, and we have sta, bil, and ize. So it's the same pattern as stability. Stability and stabilize is the same pattern. Root word, suffix, suffix, or body, tail, ribbon on the tail. They're the same pattern. So sta, bil plus bil plus ize. Stabilization. Stabilization. We have sta plus bil plus ize, ize, and ation. But the is removed when you're adding the aton to it. So you see stabilize and
Mm-hmm.
stabilization. When you add the ation, ation,
Mm-hmm.
to stabilize, the e drops. The e drops. So you will put the e in parentheses. Put the e, always put the e in parentheses. So we have here sta plus bil plus iz in parentheses e plus ation. So we have root, suffix, suffix, suffix. All right. In this case, we have the head. We have body, rather, body, tail, ribbon, ribbon. We have two ribbons at the end of the tail. All right. Two
Okay.
ribbons at the end of the tail. So we have here body,
Mm-hmm.
tail, ribbon, ribbon. Just to stay with the animal concept. All right. Instability. We have here, we added what? What's different here? What's different? What we have now, what? We have a head. We have a head. In. A prefix. All right, a prefix. So we have here that we have the body, sta. We have the tail, bil, and the ribbon, the end of the tail, ity. So the pattern is prefix plus root plus suffix, or head, body, tail, and ribbon, the end of the tail. All right. We have any questions? I'll try to text this. Hold on, give me 1 minute.
Please like the video. Please share. Please comment. Thank you. And just FYI, I've taught this to 4 of my 7 grandchildren so far. The youngest being 3. He and his sister, 3-year-old and the 5-year-old, they mastered it in 15 minutes. And then my other 2 grandchildren, they're brothers and sisters as well. One is 8 and one is 9. And they mastered it too. So I took their computers from them. No computers. We're just learning. And I just came back to the videos and they sat and watched it and was actually able to get through it. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's joining, that continues to join each week. I think this is very important. A lot of people pay a lot of money to learn etymology and Latin. And Abdullah, has agreed to just come on and do this every week, really just for the people. He's just really about teaching.
All right. Any questions? We got about 5, Shem will be on about 5 minutes. So we can, any questions? Want to feel any questions about what was presented?
Oh, it seems like people are starting to come on.
All right. They'll be able to watch it, and this was a way in which to teach children, and I said adults can learn it this way as well.
Definitely, yeah. I was just saying that I taught 4 of my grandchildren so far your lessons and made them sit here and look at the video, the first part of the videos, and they mastered it. So this is really
you see how I'm presenting it, making them try. I said I don't want it. You got to make it. You just don't make it complex. That's why you see I'm breaking it down this way. All right.
Yeah, people spend a lot of money to learn Latin and all these different languages.
This is I'm teaching this Latin. This is Latin. We teach.
Right.
This is Latin word study. This is Latin word study. I'm teaching. These are Latin root words. These are Latin root words. What's a Latin root word? So this is also Latin word study. We're going to connect this to Latin word study.
Yep.
In fact, you know what? We'll do that next week. Since you brought that up, I'm going to show them. All right.
Good.
I'm going to show them Latin word studies. Yeah, we'll do Latin word studies next week.
I love it. Peace to everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining us. We're finishing up the etymology right now. Getting ready to go into what I call civics. Abdullah calls it something else. But so welcome. Get your water, get your tea. And everybody follow me on my TV-DMV. Oh, yes, I am Bilal's mother.
So how many people were on when I was doing the etymology piece?
1.
All right.
Richard Montgomery, which is a high school.
Okono, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it does say Okono.
Yeah, he was. He just got on. He got on because he's the brother that I was saying that I had that text me.
Oh, that you said you had to send the link to.
I sent that link to you early this afternoon.
Oh, I thought you were saying you had to send it to Shem.
No.
Oh, okay, got you.
Shem has it. So you sent it to me. I sent it to Shem.
Welcome, Okono.
So he's the only one that's on?
Pecco Leo 07.
All right. They come on after. All right, though we had some people on. So that's all right. They watch the recording.
Yep.
Well, we wouldn't have any questions then. There won't be any questions because people weren't on. So all right, so we just Then we'll bring the topic up so we can make the transition. The Shem will come on. So let me just bring this. Here we go. Foreign jurisdiction and constructive language. This is in Moors and Masonry chapter. This is the first 5 pages of Moors and Masonry part 2, chapter 10. I think it's chapter 10, the first 5 pages of chapter 10 in Moors and Masonry part 2. This is Shem's, you see here the first 5 pages of this chapter. All right. So the note, this foreign jurisdiction construction language section was written by Shem Malachi Bey. The first 5 pages of this chapter, that's chapter 10 of Moors and Masonry part 2.
Chapter 10. Okay.
That's why I have to put that there, because this is Shem's contribution. Right? Well, whoever defines the language controls the issue. The basic tool for the manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the meaning of words, you can control the people who must use them. I thought that would be fitting to start. The Philip K. Dick. Constructive language prevents the inheritance from being passed down. The use of constructive language modifies the language in the Moorish treaties. The fictions and law categories of Black, Negro, Colored, and African American remove the protection of the Moorish treaties and international law of nations for the Moors. Whoever defines the language controls the issue. Emir, commander, and admiralty jurisdiction, the law of the seas, the law of the high seas, shipping, seizure, captivity, prize, treaties in Moors and Masonry. Moors and Masonry part 1. Then I also have the treaties listed in Moors and Masonry part 2. But I have excerpts of various treaties in Moors and Masonry part 1. Law of nations, public international law, issues relating to war, captivity, purchase, and salvage. The knowledge of the proper language through the study of jurisprudence and etymology will empower us, the Moors, to challenge de facto United States court opinions and constructive language used to modify Moorish treaties, thereby assuming territorial jurisdictional control over the Moors' land, over our Moorish land, estates, natural resources, and personal jurisdiction over our Moorish bodies. We, the Moors, are learning how to regain territorial jurisdiction, control over our Moorish territories, estates, and natural resources, and personal jurisdictional control over our Moorish bodies through the study of jurisprudence and etymology. It is apparent that we, the Moors, it is apparent, next one.
Okay, 1 second. Oh, there's actually 11 people on, Abdul.
All right, great. It is apparent that we, the Moors, are unaware that constructive language is used to assume, gain, and maintain territorial jurisdictional control over our Moorish land, estates, natural resources, and personal jurisdiction over our bodies. All right, let me, Sim should be on. Let me, Shim on now or no? Let me find out where he is. So think about what I'll be right back. Think about what I read.
You're frozen.
You hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
I'm calling Shim.
Oh, okay.
All right, Shem's coming on. All right, so we have here points of analysis of presumption of adhesion contracts of the mind. The use of constructive language to modify the language in the Moorish treaties, thereby removing obligations to enforce the Moorish treaties and placing the Moors in the United States jurisdiction. Admiralty and maritime contracts, the international law of salvage, the foreign jurisdiction of the European zones, and the European occupational territorial sovereignty and dominion extended to Moorish land by conquest and colonization applied to unconscious Moorish women and their babies in the foreign hospitals. The political condition of the Moors due to extinction, collapse, disintegration of the Moroccan Empire, Moorish state, and the subjugation of the Moors due to European conquest and mass denationalization.
Are we ready?
International, Shimon, international law of salvage, conquest, subjugation, colonization, and denationalization of the Moors and Moorish lands. Suretyship language in the United States adhesion contract system. Treaty waiver through the adhesion contract system and premeditative judgments. Note, presumption of adhesion contract of the mind is to take into account the allegiance, protection, and obedience to the ruling power or individual forcing their will and conscience on any individual in either an express, implied, or written contract. Law of peace, treaties, and the law of war, prize, salvage, captivity, and purchase. Your mother and father were led into an adhesion contract in a foreign jurisdiction without full knowledge and without conscionability of the obligation, stipulation, and liabilities. We have to address these matters in the international framework.
Hmm.
Conscious Moors have been misled by other conscious Moors into addressing matters such like these within the framework of United States Constitution, United States laws, United States courts, United States statutes. That is not the jurisdiction. You're talking about a people, the Moors, who belong by national origin, consanguinity, and descent to the Moroccan Empire. Yes, the Moroccan Empire has, due to European conquest, Spain, Portugal, France, Sweden, England, the Netherlands, the Moroccan Empire is in a political state, temporary political state of collapse, disintegration, dismemberment. Yes, that is the fact. How that still doesn't remove the fact that we still belong to her. She is in the hospital. She has been lying in the hospital and in a state of coma for 200 years. In international law, that is a temporary collapse, disintegration, dismemberment of a state. We still belong to her, though. We have to revive her. Conscious Moors have been misled by other conscious Moors in using the United States Constitution, United States laws to revive our mother. You have to show me, all right. Show me where that's proper. Show me an international law. We're talking about what is the process of bringing a state out of a temporary state of collapse, disintegration, or dismemberment. All right. The Chinese conquered France. As an example, the Chinese conquered France. China conquered France. China collapsed the French government. China collapsed the French state. All right. The French are held in captivity by the Chinese for 100 years. What is the procedure? What do the French people have to do to revive their mother? Do they use the Chinese Constitution? Do they use the Chinese Constitution, Chinese laws, to revive their mother, to restore the French state? No. That's nothing in international law that you can show me. They have to revive their mother. So they would need what? They need to what? Facilitate a constitutional convention to restore the mother, to recover the lost French sovereignty, to restore French statehood, to recover the lost French sovereignty, and to restore French statehood. They don't use the Chinese Constitution, Chinese laws. We have to study international law. This is not above us. We have not been directed to this. This is not above us. We're not dumb. We're not idiots. We're not slow. We're not stupid. We've been misdirected. We have not, our energies, our studies, our resources, we have not studied international law. Our time, our resources, the books we buy, the books we read, what we study, what we listen to. This is not above us. So therefore we don't even think on this because we have not been guided to this. That's all that is. We're not dumb, we're not slow, we're not idiots, we're not stupid. You see, with us? Give me 1 minute, please.
Come on.
I'm here.
Shem, peace.
Yeah, peace. How you feel?
I'm well. How are you?
All right.
Wonderful. Shem, we're in chapter 10.
Yes, I'm listening to him. I'm listening.
Oh, okay.
I've been listening.
I didn't see you.
Yeah, he's speaking about we have been taught. We have been reading the right concepts and the right information. We have been educated.
As soon as I got off, he came on. Shem, I said, oh man, I was about to call him.
No, I listened to you. I'm right on listening to you.
Yeah, I didn't see him. Yeah.
Hey Shem, don't you need to show yourself, man? What's going on?
I'm in to get my hot cakes right. That's all I'm cooking. That's why I didn't show myself. Go ahead.
All right. But get these on. You gotta get these on, so I can't. All right. So Uh, Shem, I want you to well, let me continue then. We have here, I'll reread this. Presumption of adhesion contract of the mind is to take into account the allegiance, protection, and obedience to the ruling power or individual forcing their will and conscience on any individual in either an express, implied, or written contract, law of peace, treaties, law of war, prize, salvage, captivity, and purchase. All right. Your mother and father were led into an adhesion contract in a foreign jurisdiction without full knowledge and without conscionability of their obligations, stipulations, and liabilities. All right, next one. The Moorish mother, hey Shem, I want you to comment on this after I finish these next two.
All right.
The Moorish mother, who is unconscious of her Moorish consanguinity and ancestry, is considered as a refugee and not a citizen or national of a foreign country. The Moorish body is taken as a surety in the state's political. What's that?
The Moorish baby.
Oh, baby. I'm sorry. The Moorish baby is taken as a surety in the state's political jurisdiction's political zone. International law is in operation when a Moorish woman goes into a hospital in the foreign de facto corporate United States jurisdiction and political zone to deliver her baby. So let me address this one here, the second one. All right. The Moorish baby, all right, the Moorish mother who is unconscious of her Moorish consanguinity and ancestry is considered as a refugee and not a citizen or national of a foreign country. All right, let me explain that. Black, Negro, and colored are not pedigrees, nationalities of anybody. So as that status, as being classified in the United States Census as Black, Negro, colored, our people are not even, and that classification, they're not even considered to be foreigners of a foreign country because there's no such people, Black. There's no such people. There's no such people. But on paper, talk about paper now. The people are Moors, yes. So the people do exist. The people do exist. They exist. We're talking on paper though. On paper, they don't exist. All right? The people in actuality do exist. But on paper, it's a fiction in law. So the fiction in law, Black, Negro, colored, do not exist. So on paper, as a fiction in law on paper, this is why they did that. So that you would not be, so that the nations of the world can't hear you because there's no such people on paper. This is why it's vital for us to facilitate a national Moorish political body so that we can address the centuries of mass denationalization, not in the United States courts, not in the United States venue, not in the United States Congress, not in the United States anywhere in the international arena. Because addressing it in the United States is the wrong venue. Hear me out. please, before Shem speaks, I want to provide clarity. This is why history is important. United States is not the only body. United States, we cannot put everything on the United States. United States did not begin the denationalization of the Moors. Spain. The denationalization of the Moors began with Spain. Spain classified us as Spanish and Negro. United States did not begin that denationalization process. So Spain is also responsible. Great Britain classified the Moors as Indian. The United States did not do that. They didn't begin that. The United States did not initiate. The United States did not initiate.
That's right.
So put on your phone on mute. Put on your mute phone, Shem. Mute the phone.
All right.
The United States did not initiate the Moors being classified as Indian. That's Great Britain. Absolutely. The United States did not initiate the Moors, classifying the Moors as Negro. That's Spain. So this is an international matter. You're talking about the issue of a collapse of a state that falls in international law under the law of war. A collapse of a state. You're talking about subjugation, conquest by Spain, France, Portugal, Sweden, the Netherlands. You're hipping everything on the United States. It's the wrong platform. It's the wrong venue. Shem, comment. Shem. All right, I'll continue.
Yeah, Abdullah, you're 100% right, Abdullah. You can't go turn to a modern government that was created through a treaty by their parents. You have to go back to, even before Spain. Let's go back and look at this name before Spain. Now, if you go back, Abdullah, I'm glad a long time ago, Abdullah, you speak about Geneva Bible. That's very important. Now, in the Geneva Bible, of some of the books that was taken out, the Roman government started the acquisition back in the time of Rome when they took the Moors out of here in Northwest Africa and placed them on ships and placed them all around the world in servitude. And the war, so you see, all the Spain did was, in France, Portuguese, only follow up on a letter of what their parents did. All these are Roman states. So they did the same thing against the Moors, the same thing the Roman Empire did. Took the Moors, put them on the ship and took them outside their lands. So this been going on for a long time with the Moors. Every nation in the world was at fear of the Moors government, even between themselves. Moors war between themselves. So the problem is you cannot go to the United States and be free. You have to do this yourself. You dig down in the resource of the community as a whole, all our people, women and men, and claim to be a people. The descendant people of the people that sign on treaties and regulate government among ourselves. Can't look for another government to give you a proclamation or give you a bill, pass a bill to make you free, or pass a bill saying, look at this here. I'm gonna go in their courtroom. You only go in their courtroom, they'll go in your courtroom. Why? You ever notice that? Why a United States officer would never go to a foreign government, even if the United States get a foreign government sovereignty here, operate a military base or a police barracks. The foreign police would not go there and give them the sovereignty on his own constitution.
So let me address that. All right. Let me address that. This is very important. This is the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Shem, these conscious Moors, as put your phone on mute, please. Phone on mute.
All right.
These conscious Moors, as I was one of them, have been misled into believing that the United States is the Moorish government. So we hear what you're saying, Shem, and you are right. We got to bring the point up that conscious Moors have been misled. So conscious Moors have been taught, and I was one of them. And I taught thousands of people this misconception. Conscious Moors have been misled by conscious Moors, and I was one of the conscious Moors that misled thousands of conscious Moors into believing that the United States courts are the Moorish courts. This is so they don't. So conscious Moors have been taught that that's not a foreign court. That United States District Court is not a foreign court for the Moors. Conscious Moors have been taught that United States District Court, United States Supreme Court are Moorish courts. So conscious Moors, like myself, I was one of them, are not in the mindset that they're going to a foreign court. So Shem is correct, and he gave a great analogy, but I want to bring the elephant in the room. I got to talk about the elephant in the room, right? That is not the mindset of quite a few conscious Moors, because conscious Moors do not think that those are foreign courts. They are taught, they're not, remember, they're not presented evidence. They're not presenting evidence now. Hear me out. I did not, no one, and I would challenge any conscious Moor to don't say anything, just present the evidence. Don't explain anything. Present the evidence. No conscious Moor, no European, no Chinese, no French, I don't care who they are on the planet, can present documentary evidence that the United States government is the Moorish government. They cannot present evidence of the minutes. You can present minutes of the Constitutional Convention of 1787, but they cannot present in the minutes that Moors were there and that Moors were operating on behalf of Moorish sovereignty in the Moorish government. They cannot present evidence that this is the Moorish government. The 17 Shem mentioned, we got to clear it. We can't go forward. We can't move on until we clear the elephant in the room. I know the misconception. I taught them for 25 years. I've taught them to thousands of people. I'm making amends, y'all. Making amends. I apologize. I didn't do it intentionally. So, Shem mentioned the United States formed by treaty. The 1783 treaty, the definitive treaty between Great Britain and the United States, 1783, that ended the Revolutionary War. Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. His Britannic Majesty relinquish to United States viz, V-I-Z, namely, and all 13 are named. So the 13 states assume rights under the respective colony charters. So, for example, New York State assumes rights under the Duke of York charter that was granted to Duke of York, King Charles II's brother, in 1662. 1662, King Charles granted his brother, Duke of York, a charter to establishing New York colony. So New York State assumed rights under that charter via Article 1 of that definitive peace treaty. New Jersey State, 24 lord proprietors were granted a charter in the early 1700s to establish New Jersey colony. New Jersey State is assuming rights via Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty under that charter, under the New Jersey colony charter. Commonwealth of Pennsylvania assumes rights under the Lord Proprietor William Penn's charter via Article 1. That's what Shem means. No, the United States was not Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. That no land was granted to the United States. It was what? Relinquished to the 13 states, not to the United States. 1819. The 1819 People versus Godfrey. The New York State Supreme Court case, People versus Godfrey. It states just that. It was a case, and I'm explaining what Shem means, because I want to explain what Shem means by United States creating by its charter. I'm explaining it. All right. He said it. I'm explaining. 1819. The issue was a soldier, an army soldier, had as a prisoner another army soldier. On the way to the barracks, the army soldier killed the prisoner, the army soldier, with the bayonet. Now, the issue was who has jurisdiction? Who has jurisdiction? Is it United States or New York State? Well, New York State claimed to have jurisdiction over the case because of where the barrack lies. United States claimed to have jurisdiction over the case because it's the military barrack. New York State, this was in New York State Supreme Court, 1819. New York State pointed to the 1783 Treaty of Paris to make the jurisdictional claim. The land was relinquished to New York State, not to the United States. So this is what Shem is talking about when he mentioned United States by treaty. That's the 1783 Treaty of Paris between Great Britain and the United States. I have to slow it down. We have to explain everything because we have to advance you. We don't want to leave no gray areas. When this video, when it's over, what does he mean by that? No. I'm here for that. I'm here to clear it up. All right. So we make clear that this, once again, the example Shem gave is very clear about police, cops not going to a foreign. Remember, conscious Moors do not think they're going to a foreign court. Conscious Moors do not think that they're going to a foreign court when they go to the United States District Court because they've been taught that this is the Moorish government, that the Moors are the founders, that we the people of the United States, that the Moors are we the people of the United States. That preamble, we the people of the United States, that we the people of the Moors. The Moors have been taught. I taught that to thousands of people for 25 years. The Moors have been, conscious Moors have been taught by conscious Moors. And I was one of them that taught this for 25 years to thousands of people. That 35 Moors were at the Constitutional Convention from March 1787 to September 1787. That 35 Moors were there. I taught that to thousands of people for 25 years. So that's why. So these are misconceptions that we got to clear up. If I got to say it 1,000 times, come with different angles, I will do it. I have to make amends. I taught the misconceptions to thousands of people for a 25-year period. Shem came along and rescued me. Shem is my savior. Shem Malachi Bey is my savior. He saved me. He saved me. He saved me. I'm being straight up. He saved me. He's the reason. He's the reason why I don't teach the misconceptions anymore. He's the reason. He's my savior. He saved me from misconceptions. That's what I mean. I don't worship anybody, but I'm giving honor, and I'm saying he's my savior. Because he saved me from misconceptions and saved me from continuing to teach that to thousands or more. Because had he not been, I would have continued teaching that and would have taught that to even thousands of more over from 1919, from 2019 to even to today. I've still been teaching that because that's still been taught. Shem, I just wanted to provide that clarity, brother. I appreciate you. So every time, anywhere I see where I can provide clarity, clear, expansive explanation, I will do that. Constructive language prevents the inheritance. Shem, you with us? Constructive language prevents the inheritance from being passed down. When you take away a people's rights to pass down their wealth, intellectual property, and land, and take away the right of the descendants to inherit their estate, it is a hostile act of war, apartheid, and genocide. Abandoned ship without a flag, the Moorish mother. The cargo, the Moorish baby. Shem? Shem. All right, I'll continue. The abandoned ship without a flag, the Moorish mother. You have to tell me that. You have to say something. You have to say I'm here. You have to say I'm here. All right. I want you to. We have here. Constructive language prevents the inheritance from being passed down. Abandoned ship without a flag, the Moorish mother. Cargo, the Moorish baby. All right. I want you to explain that before I continue reading.
He fell off.
All right. The enslavement, the enforcement of the international law of war, captivity, salvage, seizure, and slavery, not racism, not discrimination. 1, Moorish mother, labor and delivery of the vessel, the body, the estate, the Moorish child, which according to nature is to be productive and progressive in life on the land. Is he with us? Is he back with us?
Yeah, I'm here. My phone keep going out. Go ahead.
All right. I want you to.
Your voice sounds muffled, Abdullah. Yeah. Abdullah.
I'm muffled?
Start talking again. Let me see.
Let me.
Okay, you're better. You're back.
I'm better. All right, Shem. I want you to explain the abandoned ship without a flag, being the Moorish mother, and the cargo, the Moorish baby.
Yes. when a mother goes above a hospital is like a ship docking a port. It's a shelf connected to the land. It's built on top of the land, and it's an erection. It's a structure, infrastructure. When a mother goes into the infrastructure, it's like she going aboard a foreign vessel. When she goes there, she drop her goods, her baby. When she does that, she don't come in and claim her sovereignty. I'm a Moorish national mother of Morocco. I'm protected by my country. This is my baby. I'm not lost at sea, but I am a Moor, but this is my child. I want to have my child here, but I'm gonna have it delivered to the embassy so they do the proper paperwork, proper channels. The rest of my child is make sure they take the child status. What she does is she goes above the vessel. When she goes above it, she's not connected to a flag or a ship, or she don't have ID, no identity papers, no passport. So she like lost at sea. The mother's not considered lost at sea. Now she's considered as a refugee because she's going to a foreign government for services, for aid, for security, amnesty. She's getting amnesty now. They give her amnesty. She gets a amnesty because they're going to give her protection, health care, they give her housing, they give her food stamps, give her food. So now she getting these maritime benefits on the maritime contract. She considered a refugee. So now they give her asylum, lost at sea. She become a refugee, a stateless person. So what they do is give her a status, a political identity. They make her sign papers that she, the child, is a resident of that state, of that society. Now the child is brought up in the United States political jurisdiction in the state, political jurisdiction as a refugee, not a more, as labeled now as a Negro, colored, Afro-American, whatever they call them. That's what she is. And her child also is now a category as a Negro now, or black, because what she is, the child is now, the United States take the child as collateral and make the child surety now for pledge the child for future performance. This is called maritime law. Future performance, maritime contracts. The mother and the child got to fulfill these contracts like a mortgage. The child got a mortgage and the mother got a mortgage. So the child get weighed for gold value and put on a bond, and then the child becomes a trust. Under CFR, every United States person is a trust. Yeah, that's the definition of a United States person. In CFR, a foreign trust. You're a trust. Yes, you are. You're a trust. So now a child becomes a trust and becomes a part of the United States parent trust. And what happens is the state operates as trustees on behalf of the state. The Attorney General represents the state, is a trustee for the state. And we have a child gets a certificate of live birth. I mean, he's a beneficiary of the trust. What do you mean? He's a special needy person. The mother's a special needy person, and the child also is a special needy person. That means that they can't collect. They're crazy. They're lunatic. So they call special needy. So they give them certificates so they can pay for the eating, the housing, the security, welfare, grants for housing, all this stuff. So now you see what's going on now. And we have to break that presumption, and assumption, that's a take. How we break it? By coming together as one, a community of people, determine among ourselves who we are, saying we got the knowledge, we balanced now, we illuminated now, we enlightened now, we mental. We not infant. What you mean infant? That means you was born, but you never reached maturity. You ever see a child, when a child is born and the child body grows, but the mind is like a fetal. It's still in a fetal stage. It can't comprehend what's around him. Everything got to be done for the child. Same thing with us. Everything got to be done for the so-called Negro, the black Afro-American color. He'll know where he at. He ain't lost his mind. He'll know his country. He'll know his culture. He'll know his language. He don't know nothing. All he knows is what we teach him. So now you become a creature of the law now. What you mean? You become a creature of the law now. Whatever they train and teach you, you become their property now. They become the creator and the author. You become what you call it, the actor, or the the creature of the law. You're a creature now. You're the actor. They put together a play now. Your whole life you never know what you're a play. They're directing your play by writing laws, writing books, putting you in school. They're directing everything. A puppet. You're a puppet. And you can sit in the middle of a retardated state because you don't know, you don't even exist in your mind because you don't exist as a people. You're in the middle of a retardated state. That's how they look at you in the middle of a retardated state. That means the fetus of the mother, child has never reached maturity to talk right. What you mean shouldn't talk right? Speak perfect, speak proper nouns, speak adjectives, speak verbs, write a lawful sentence and syntax. Grammar, mathematical grammar. You can't write grammar no more. You can't write a mathematical sentence. When you write a sentence, you write yourself in a sentence as an adjective, not a noun. You know how to write a sentence. You can't, so really you don't know how to create. In the mind, you can't create anything because it taught you how to write fraud. Then you learn how to read the fraud, so now everything you do is in fiction. You're dead. You're a fetus. Now, you was in your mother's womb 9 months, 8 months and 6 days. How the world can you be in your mother's womb maturing for 8 months and 6 days and being born you 1 year, you 1 day old? That's impossible. The fetus have to grow over a period of time. That means a mature child in the womb. When a child is born, the child is not 1 day old. What happened is the contract is formed within that 1 day. They form an artificial being, a Negro, a black, Afro-American, a creature of the law is created. Remember that. It's only a creature. They Dr. Frankenstein. They blow into you the breath of life. What is the breath of life? Language. What they put on paper. They program you. You have to clone nobody and they put another body. All you have to do is reprogram somebody to false concepts. When you get somebody false concept, false language, grammar language, syntax language, you program them. You clone them. Don't know who the hell they are. And this is the real war that's going on. So you better watch what people say around you, what they write around you, because what you say, what you write means something today. And that's the key thing to hold you down. Not to let you be able to write. No. Not be able to write and read is the key thing they want. Because they get you like that, they got you. Because you're an actor. You never do anything. You're an actor. They are the screenwriters. They're producers and directors. They are the authors of writing a story. They're writing a book, and you're a character in that book. This story been written since this been going back since the British called the Moors Indians, since the Spaniards called them Negroes, since the United States called them Black, Afro-American, called them Puerto Ricans. We all now be Mexicans, Hispanics. We got so many actor names. Yeah, I know some people that are so damn famous they got no money. Ain't got no money. You got all these damn actors. You're a famous actor. You ain't get no money up there. Nothing. You look at everybody. You ever see an actor make everybody else rich? He ain't got nothing. He there in the street with raggedy holes in his socks, smell like piss. Ain't even a good famous actor. What? I just seen him in the movies. That movie made $1 billion, but he lay in the street funky and dirty, begging for $1. His senses gone. They use him. We being used. So the concept is this here. Anyone that think, please look back. When the days of Tunis and the Beys signed a treaty of the United States, they made it clear that the jurisdiction when it was a civil matter or criminal dispute among the Moors and United States citizens, that the Algerians had jurisdiction. In the treaty of 1856, if the Moors is the one put the United States together, there will be no need to say that if it's a criminal and civil dispute, that the Mufti court should have jurisdiction. If the Moors is part of the United States, when they sign a treaty, the Deys and Beys, they will be saying if the dispute rise, the Deys, Algerians shall hear the dispute. So what that mean? They have separate government. Why does the United States sign a treaty with Morocco and they're the same government? It's impossible. Show me France signed a treaty with themselves. The Republic of France signed a treaty with the Empire of France. Where you ever see that at? Show me China signed a treaty the people of China signed a treaty with the public. No, there's only one government that recognize all that geographical area. And this is what we see. What we do is we get bent up on people talking, like Abdullah say. We show people like they're movie stars or they're actor, famous, and listen to them on what they say the truth. No, that's that they went back there 500 years ago. They went back there 1,000 years ago. So they only go about what's written. So if they're not looking back and giving their own concept, opinion, you're being indoctrinized upon the school of thought of man. You're being indoctrinized and you follow the school of thought and capture of a man's opinion. And it's a dangerous doctrine right there. It's dangerous, very dangerous. Anything else?
Woo! Fire! Fire! Woo! Fire!
So anybody goes to the United States court and say, I'm a Moor, and he said his court got jurisdiction to hear this, show me a Moorish treaty where the Moorish government's in power, the government that's the government in power, ceded authority over to that foreign government to hear all kinds of disputes, to give authority to hear disputes. And show me the treaty where that government say, since you helped put together the United States of America, so you helped put that together, you're obligated to go by what we say. Show me that language, that verbiage in the treaty. You can't find it. It's not there.
My man. Fire.
Go to the document. The document is not gonna lie. Go to the instrument and read it. It speaks for itself. It said we, the people of the United States. It said we, the people of Morocco, we the Moors of the Days and Bays, Algerians and Tunis. It does not say that.
My man.
So go to the introduction.
Context, man. He's providing proper context, man. I mean, he's not even, it's not a lot. It's proper concepts. It's proper concept, man. You're doing it, man. Great job, brother. Great job. I'm just letting you talk, brother. I mean, because you on fire.
If anybody has to still operate in that frequency of thinking, you have not matured yet. You still in the fetal stage. You still in infant stage. That means they can still play with your mind. What that means, you cannot benefit your people because you're still in the infant stage yourself. You have to be mature. You haven't reached maturity yet. What's maturity, Shem? You have to reach maturity when you could identify a proper concept from a wrong ideology. If somebody speak not a concept, if somebody speak their own opinion and can't back it up with their proof, then that's their mouth. So when a child is immature, a baby can't identify nothing. A baby can't tell when the parents argue what they're arguing about because the baby's an infant until the baby reaches a mature state. When the child reaches a mature state, then the child can logically bring in some reasoning of what they're arguing about or what this word means because they're being taught now in school. So if you still on the concept that the United States was put in place by the Moors after reading treaties, you still an infant. I'm sorry to say, you're still in the infant stage. You're not mature yet. You're still in the infant stage.
Man, let me wow, great, man. I just love to hear him talk. I love it because they're providing proper concept, providing clarity. I'll continue to read, Shem.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me start with, let me reread number one. Number one, Moorish mother, labor and delivery of the vessel, embodied the estate, the Moorish child, which according to nature is to be productive and progressive in life on the land. Roman number two, commodity. The Moorish baby is measured in value based on his or her future performance, production, and progress in the 50 states of the union structures and systems that are set up to benefit the stakeholders. The Moorish child is pledged as surety and used as collateral within the states of the union financial structure. And Shem talked about all this. 4, the name the Moorish mother gives to her Moorish child is used as a trust corporation for operating in the 50 states in the union as a licensed corporation. Shem mentioned all this. I'm just 5. The Moorish child has an obligation placed on his or her body as a commitment to fulfill future obligations that the 50 states in the union acquired through deceit, fraud. 6. In order for the deceptive plan to take place in the obligations and stipulations of the states in the union legislated through their parliament, statutes, codes, regulations, policies that need to be carried out in order to command the Moorish child, the Moorish mother and father to comply with the 50 states of the union, 50 states of the union intent. Shem, you did talk about all these points. You mentioned all these points here. Continue 7. The Moorish mother and Moorish father are indoctrinated under an apartheid foreign school system to enroll their Moorish children into a mid-control school system, into a mind-control school system to indoctrinate them to comply with the structured system set up by the states in the union. This is some good stuff. 7. This is chapter 10 of Moors and Masonry part 2. This is first 5 pages of chapter 10 of Moors and Masonry part 2. This is the first 5 pages written by Shem Malachi Bey. All right, and I've written at the top, the first 5 pages written by Shem Malachi Bey of chapter 10 of Moors and Masonry part 2. This is what I'm reading from. All right, and this was also part of our contract law course. So this was part of a contract law course. I think 201 Shem, I believe, taught at the Academy of Providence. The 3 pages, and I put those 5 pages in chapter 10 of Moors and Masonry part 2. All right, so this was drafted. Shem wrote this about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. All right, continuing. Once the indoctrination is carried out, the Moorish child is placed and taught to believe, accept, write, think, speak in connotative language, constructed to maintain their indoctrination and subjection under the United States jurisdiction, thereby waiving all protection of their Moorish nationality, Moorish birthright inheritance, and Moorish treaty claims. 9. The Moorish child will write and read legal statutory contracts that remove their immunities, but come on, Shem, protections and exemptions that are guaranteed to them under their Moorish nationality claims pursuant to Moorish treaties. Right on. The Moorish child has learned how to write sentences, statements, and paragraphs under a fraudulent connotative language format, which is fictitious and constructed with fraudulent conveyance of language. My man, you want to expand on that, Shem? Are we good?
Yeah. But I'm a spanner. What I mean is this here. I'm gonna say Professor Abdullah was teaching, right? I know a lot of people that went over their head. The true meaning what Abdullah told something very mind blowing. And see, you have to be a very good listener. See, when you structure a sentence, it is very important because Bill Clinton uses it against the Congress to get himself out of trouble. Because see, when it is saying using the word are, it is plural and singular, they're the only 2 verbs in the English language, is and are. So Clinton said, how you using the language? You can't use the language against me, because under federal law, you can't use language because that's a con game. It's a scam. No different you run a Ponzi. If you get caught running a scam game, a con game starts with communication skills and thinking. You run a Ponzi. So if they teach you to write a sentence and you write yourself in fraud, how can you ever get out of fraud? If they write a contract against you, you say, excuse me, I noticed the way you're using this word here. You're not using me as an adjective or a verb. You can't use me as an adjective or verb. Are you describing the person, the noun, or who? Where's the noun at? You got number pronouns, adjectives, adverbs in your whole sentence. So that means you're not dealing with life. You're not dealing with life. You're not dealing with true life. You're not dealing with anybody that's visibly conscious. You're dealing with a dead fiction. See, the language has to be created dealing with a dead fiction. You are dead, which means you're dead to nationality. You're dead to life. All people anciently existed through a nationality, through a tribe, a clan, a house. You dead to consciousness. And the conscious, you dead to reality. You don't know you exist inside the divinity. So therefore, there's no need to write you as a verb or write you as a noun, as something being real, to describe you as an adjective or adverb or pronoun, because you don't exist in them. And they push that language on you and twist the words to get a conviction on you or steal your wealth, knock off your status. And because you're not a proper standing to challenge that, I mean, your counsel can challenge the language. Excuse me, you can't you bring in a complaint for a more being a damaged party, but your language is confused. Your syntax is messed up. What you mean? You have not one verb or one noun in your sentence. Everything in your sentence is adjective, pronouns, adverbs. Who are you talking about? So now what happens is that at the draft, you can never draft a complaint or do anything against them more because you haven't taught in fraud. You got to bring the syntax. You're not dealing with a dead person or a fiction or unconscious or infinite. You're dealing with somebody conscious of life now. So if they're conscious of life, you have to write in a proper syntax sentence structure. Prepositional phrase, adverb, adjective describing the noun, the verb, you got to write. That's how the sentence got to be. Because you're dealing with somebody, you're dealing with real life now. Now we're dealing with true life here. This is
That's
true
what
life.
David Wynn Miller taught. I'm not that familiar with what Shem's talking about. David Wynn Miller taught that. He transitioned a couple years ago.
Yeah,
But David Wynn Miller.
Yeah, he backed up. He was teaching, right? And the guy asked me, he said, why did David Miller backed up when he got up to the, I said, I'm gonna tell you why he backed up. First of all, David Miller was a subject. David Miller challenged the Constitution of the United States to say it was written in fraud, syntax, meaning that written no national origins with it, a live being. That's true. But guess what? He can't challenge that in his capacity because he's what? He considered as what? An immigrant coming from a foreign nation. He had no power to challenge the crown writings. He had no power to challenge the Esquires that wrote the Constitution because David Miller is not a party to it. So when David Miller made that claim, the reason why David Miller backed down because if David Miller made that claim, they could deport him. Yes, they could deport David Miller, take his status away from him because he shouldn't be here. Because if he make a claim the United States Constitution is a fraud, hear me out, I want you to hear this. And David Miller made a claim that he rewrote the Constitution in quantum. Hear me out. But who gave permission to do it though? Who gave David Miller permission to write the Constitution in quantum and stay in the college? He cannot do that because he had to have a parent, a sovereign, give him the authority to do that because he was not given that authority by the king or queen of the parent crowns. He could not do that. He would lose his status now. That's why he stepped back and left the other black guy hanging. Left him there hanging.
Let me provide clarity, Shem. Let me provide clarity.
Yes.
Right? Once again, Shem is alluding to the 1783 Treaty of Paris between Great Britain and the United States. His Britannic Majesty, King George III, relinquished the boundaries that's outlined in the colony charter of South Carolina, charters of South Carolina, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Georgia, South Carolina, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, the 13 original colonies, 13 English colonies, the boundaries, the 13 states assume rights under those various charters, respective charters. All right. So if China challenges the United States claim to the land. China, the United States, well, the 13 original is going to go to what? Great Britain. Because the 13 original authority to operate, their rights to operate on more soil and the boundaries laid out in those 13 charters comes from the English crown. That's where Shem is coming from. That's 1781, the 83 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. I mentioned People versus Godfrey, 1819 case, where New York refers to that treaty, 1783, Treaty of Paris, between Great Britain and the United States, because it was granted, it was relinquished to New York State, not to the United States. That's what Shem is alluding to when he's in his example about when he's talking about David William Miller. All right, I just wanted to reiterate that point because we want people to be very clear on it. All right, so look at Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States, 1783. You'll see United States viz. That same construction is in the Articles of Confederation, which means that each of the 13 states and that construction, United States viz, V-I-Z, and Latin means namely. All 13 are named. And that legal construction, that's a preservation of the rights, all right, operate in the free, sovereign, independent. They reserve that in that construction. If you remove the 13 states, remove viz and the 13 states and put United States by itself, His Britannic Majesty relinquished to the United States, and you remove the viz in the 13 states, they're what? They surrendering their rights. The 13 original states never surrendered that. They cannot do it. Hear me out. In 1787, in the Constitutional Convention, 1787, the delegates representing the 13 original states did not surrender the rights. They divested, not surrender. They cannot surrender. Hear me out. They cannot. New York State cannot surrender. New Jersey State, South Carolina State, Georgia State, Connecticut State, Rhode Island State, Pennsylvania, they cannot, Virginia, Commonwealth of Virginia, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, they cannot surrender. Why? Because it was what? Relinquished to them by the crown. So they can't in turn, they can't surrender it to the United States. They could only divest it, not surrender it, because it was not relinquished. It was relinquished directly to the 13, the original state, via Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty of 1783. Look at that. They cannot never surrender, cannot surrender. So the 13 states can always go back. People versus Godfrey, 1784. Let me finish this and Shem will go on. This is very important because Shem is alluding to this. The only reason I'm mentioning this because he's alluding to this when he's talked about David William Miller. 1784. New York, Virginia Company. Virginia Company was granted 2 charters. The first charter is what you see in that map, United States map, Virginia. That is the first charter. The second charter expanded Virginia colony. As a result, Virginia colony became the largest colony. And 1783, that 1783 Treaty of Paris between Great Britain and the United States, Virginia state assumed rights under both charters. That included the Northwest Territory. The Northwest Territory was under France's control. France ceded the Northwest Territory and Canada to Great Britain in 1763 treaty between France and Great Britain. King George III relinquished that Northwest Territory, not to the United States, to Virginia State. In 1784, Virginia State ceded the Northwest Territory to the United States in 1784. Look it up. That's where Shem is alluding to. So I gotta mention that so that you can be solid what Shem is talking about. Continue, bro.
Yes, because it's very important to understand that when David Miller challenged the United States authority to write the Constitution, he had to bring that claim up with the Crown. But he didn't have any standing because he's not part of any of these royal houses. He's just a common that's operating in the political jurisdictional state that was granted sovereignty by the United States. So therefore, he could not bring a claim against the United States about their language, but their Constitution is written in fraud. Because if that's true, he can't be here. And now that he can't challenge it because he don't lawful standing. He's not a member of Congress. He's not a government official. He's not elected to do that. So to go before the royal body and say, hey, listen, this Constitution, the language on trial, I rewrote the Constitution. I'm the head of the state now. That he can't do it because the granting power came from the Crown. And David Miller is not of the royal house of the Crown. He cannot bring that claim to the Crown because the Crown did not grant him anything, or his house, or his family, anything to make that claim. So that's why he backed up. Most people say, why he backed up? Like the state of Hawaii. They say he wrote the Constitution for the state of Hawaii, right? And he went to The Hague and he arrested, and Hawaii went back into captivity. I disagree with that because what do you mean, Shem? I'm gonna tell you why I disagree with that. If you are sent to The Hague and become a member of the UN, you always gonna be in that thing. It's always gonna tell you if you was there and you withdraw. I mean, you left it. You was there and you took and withdraw yourself from that union of member states. So there's nothing saying that Hawaii is ever a member of the UN. Nothing. There's nothing. So I tell people we hear a lot of stuff on people talking on these broadcasters, but there's no proof to back up this allegation. And then somebody said, well, the Constitution is a fraud. David Miller says so. But David Miller was not there. None of his family was there. None of his house even granted power to be there when Esquire granted permission and privileges by the Crown. He was not there. And not only that, in order to say that the Constitution is a fraud and I've rewritten it, what's your lawful authority there? If it's fraud, that means you don't have no standing. Nobody got no standing here at all. And how you go to the world body, The Hague, and go before France? France signed a treaty to the United States, Spain, Great Britain. You go to all these crowns that, hey, listen, their Constitution is written in fraud. Yeah, but you can't bring that claim. Only one who can bring the claim is the children of the drafters, which are the Esquires.
Let me provide clarity. Hold on, Shem. They would still have standing here. Hear me out. They still would have standing. All right. Because that Constitution, let's provide clarity. That Constitution, the state, we talk about the 13 original states. The 13 states constitutions and the United States Constitution do not give them standing to operate in the land.
That's right.
Hear me out. Please, once again, People versus Godfrey. Please hear me out, y'all. Please. Once again, the state's constitutions, New Jersey State Constitution, does not give New Jersey State any standing to operate in the land. It is the definitive peace treaty of 1783. Once again, People versus Godfrey. Not Abdullah said, please do not say Abdullah said anything. Please do not say Abdullah said anything. People versus Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain. Say Abdullah pointed us to Article 1 of the definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and United States, 1783. Abdullah pointed us to People versus Godfrey, 1819 New York State Supreme Court case. In that case, once again, the outcome, the United States did not acquire any territorial rights. It was granted to New York State. The 13, His Britannic Majesty relinquished United States viz, all 13. That's what that means. That's why the New York State refers to the 1783 Treaty of Paris and that People versus Godfrey, 1819. Somebody put in the chat, People versus Godfrey, Geoffrey. People versus Godfrey, 1819 New York State Supreme Court case. That's very important. That supports you. You'll see in there, Abdullah said anything, you will see the reference to 1783 Treaty of Paris as well as 1796 J Treaty. So New York, so the state's constitution, we're talking about the 13, and the United States Constitution does not give them any standing to operate in the land. What does it do? The state constitution, you're talking about government official to operate. We're talking about their structure of government. We're talking about structure of government. We're talking about officials. You talk about the New York State governor, the New York State governors. All right, the New York State governor, the governor of New York State. If you're talking about his authority to operate as a governor, comes from the people through that constitution. But when you're talking about, operation on the land, that's different. Once again, People versus Godfrey, because the New York State claimed to have jurisdiction over that case. New York State claimed to have jurisdiction over the case is because where the barrack lies. Yes, it's a military barrack, but where is the barrack lies? And they reference 1783 Treaty of Paris. So no state constitution, no United States Constitution, no Articles of Confederation, no Articles of Association, no Declaration of Independence gives them rights to what? Operate in the land. They're assuming rights under the charter. Martin versus Waddle. Referring to New Jersey, 24 New Jersey proprietors. This is an oyster case. And in that case, it refers to that New Jersey is assumed rights under the charter. They keep referring to assuming rights under the New Jersey Colony Charter. Martin versus God. You ain't gonna say Abdullah said anything because Abdullah gives you references. So I just want to make it very clear that their rights to operate in the land does not come from any constitution, any Articles of Confederation, no Declaration of Independence. That definitive peace treaty, 1783, between Great Britain and the United States. If you're talking about operate,
Abdullah,
yes.
Are you spelling Godfrey Gotthrey?
No, Geoffrey. People versus Godfrey.
Okay.
Geoffrey.
Got it. Okay.
1819 New York New York State Supreme Court case, 1819. Yeah, so make sure you put 1819 New York State Supreme Court case, People versus Godfrey. Ware versus, and also we have Ware versus Martin versus Waddle. Martin versus Waddle, WADDEL, Martin versus Waddle. You'll see that there to assume rights under the charter. And Article 1 of the 1783 Definitive Peace Treaty between Great Britain and the United States. These are very important. Very important, so that, you know, I just want to provide clarity on what Shem is saying, because he's alluding to these points here. All right, because as you rewatch this, you know, I don't want people to say, what does he mean by that? I'm telling you, I'm directing you, I'm giving you the cases, I'm giving you the reference, I'm giving you the treaties, so that you can have a solid base what's being discussed here today. I'm going to open up some for questions. Where's Shem? Shem left it. He texted me something. Where is he? We're not done. Man.
It may have just fallen off.
I know. He texted me something. He texted me some link. We have a question.
Mainly comments.
Comments.
So Lee asks, "This is what treaty?" I don't know which portion she's asking.
Shem mentioned the 1795 treaty between Algiers and the United States. 1795 treaty between the day of Algiers and the United States. The 1796 treaty between the Bay of Tripoli and the United States. You mentioned the 1856 general treaty between Morocco and Great Britain. 1856 general treaty between Morocco and Great Britain. Shem mentioned then. I mentioned the 1783 definitive peace treaty between Great Britain and the United States. Those are the only four treaties that were mentioned.
Okay. Another question. What do you say about the fact that all we see are revisions of said treaty of peace and friendship, but no authentication of the parties?
All we see is religion. I don't understand the question.
Okay. What do you say about the fact that all we see are revisions of the said treaty of peace and friendship, but no authentication of the parties?
All right. 1952 case between Great Britain and between France and United States in International Court of Justice. 1952, France versus United States in International Court of Justice. There were three types of treaties used to determine the extent of consular of extraterritorial jurisdiction, United States extraterritorial jurisdiction, and United States. So that treaty was brought into question. That 1786 treaty between the Emperor Morocco and the United States was brought into question regarding the extent of the United States extraterritorial consular jurisdiction. There was three types of treaties that were used to determine that. The first type of treaty, this was a case that dealt with the most favored nation claim. France claimed to have the most favorable nation, and I want Shem, once I get done, Naj, I have asked that question again. France claimed to have the most favorable nation status over the United States. The United States claimed to have the most favorable nation status. They used three types of Moorish treaties to determine that matter. and to determine the extent of United States extraterritorial jurisdiction in Morocco. The first type of treaties was the primary treaties, the Moorish bilateral treaties with 10 European powers between 1631 and 1892. The second type of treaties are two multilateral treaties, the Act to Protect Morocco, 1880, and the Act of Algeciras, 1906. The third type of treaties is the 1912 Fez Treaty, all right, which is the protectorate. All right, so those, Najma, you want to read the question again for Shem?
Yes. What do you say about the fact that we all see revisions of the said Treaty of Peace and Friendship, but no authentication of the parties?
Well, first of all, the United States, the government itself continuing insolvency is upon the government to certify or make this treaty be enforced. The United States gonna stand behind anything they sign. Believe me, because it come out during the UN. Every time the United States make a claim, they refer back to an ancient document. The only problem is Morocco is still here, but don't have a sitting government. There's no sitting government. People that got knowledge and mature enough to step into the seat as a government, as a body of people forming a national government, operating the same authority as the Sultan had when they conquered the Moors. The Moors already sovereign before the Sultans fell on them, conquered them. It was already sovereign. The Moors wasn't sovereign through the Sultan. The Sultan conquered the sovereign Moors. Yes, the Sultan was a conqueror. He conquered the Moors. The Moors already sovereign in their own capacity as independent states and nations. What the Sultan did was the Sultans turned around and conquered all these Moors governments and defeated the Roman Empire. When they defeated the Roman Empire, all the spoil of the Roman Empire fell to the Sultan. Therefore, all our spoil became part of Morocco now. Therefore, it became Moroccan Empire. Morocco, Moroccan Empire. I mean, now, Emperor Morocco have monarchy jurisdiction over all the spoil that he captured to war. So there's no national government here to do anything. Until we come together, please hear me out, until we come together as a parent and decide, male and female, masculine and feminine, come together and form a national body, a body of community of states for one national government and act in that capacity as Morocco. What you mean? The feminine and the masculine, the feminine is going to nourish our people. What you mean? Educate our people. The nourishment, education, proper learning, proper food. The protector is going to come into security, enforcing what the mother said should be. Because the mother, the first one that brings about all the wisdom, your mother. So until we come together as one body, masculine and feminine, under one community, a body of people forming governments, more states, come together for one national body, and we exercise the authority of a monarchy. The one national government operating as a monarchy, whereas though every more state reserves their right to sovereignty, but when they interchange among each other, they become one national government. One powerful monarchy did step up in a capacity as Morocco did and enforce these treaties. If we don't do that, we can't enforce no more treaty in the federal court. Why? Because the federal judge was not delegating authority from a Moorish government to hear these matters. The more to give the Supreme Court or a federal court or a foreign court, not even a French court, power to hear disputes. Even in the Fez Treaty, when the Sultans borrowed money on behalf of the Moors, the Sultans appointed France as his successor, but never gave France the authority to take away the more political power rights. The Moors still have power to hear their own matters, determine their own fate. That never stolen. Granada, 1400s. Same way, Granada. The Moors had power to determine their own fate, their own political matters. What they did was, in order to strip the Moors of the treaty detention rights, they had to come up with constructive language. So call the Moors, identify the Moors outside the character and actor inside the treaty.
Spanish.
Yep, the Spanish. They started categorizing the Moors as Negroes.
Saracens, Spanish. Yeah.
Great Britain start calling it Moors, Indian, the river people, lake, the people. That's not written in the treaty. So now the Moors cannot be protected now because they've been stripped away from their mother, Morocco, through language. So in order for anything to be done, we have to now. You can say, "Oh yeah, I'm protecting Morocco." Okay, where's Morocco at now? Now ask yourself a question. Where's Morocco right now? Morocco is going to stay into a coma state until we go into the hospital, like Abdullah say, and wake our mothers up. We got to cry and wake our mother up. If our mother don't wake up, we have to claim to be the heirs of the estate of our mother. We come out her body. We come from the land, her body. We got to claim her estate. What you mean? Claim all the things our mother got for us before she got that condition. Before Morocco was stripped of all these rights, we got to claim these rights to a national government. Now, if the mother don't wake up, we got to. If we wake the mother don't wake up. That don't stop you from claiming your rights because you come from your mother. So you have to step in the place that if you was your mother, protect the estate, get your benefit and your interest rights in the state protected as a national people.
All right, I'm gonna try to get through more questions. Abdullah, can you explain the importance of political unity?
Wow, Shem just did.
Okay.
Shem just did.
Let me see.
I mean,
okay, if we as Moors already stand as superior at law, we do not need their authentication of our authority in any capacity.
All right, let me address that. We are not, all right. I've heard this, Najma.
Yes.
We gotta be real. You got conscious Moors. He got that from conscious Moors, Najma. He or she got that from listening to other conscious Moors who claim to have a state, claim to recover the lost Moor sovereignty. It is utterly ridiculous. We are still, our mother is in the hospital. Our mother is still in coma. We have not recovered our lost Moor sovereignty. We have not restored Moorish statehood. We have not re-entered the international community as an old and original state under the reversion of sovereignty. We have not reestablished diplomacy with France, Belgium, England, Great Britain, the Netherlands, the Dutch Republic, Sweden, Sardinia. We have not established diplomatic relationships with China and Japan and Nigeria and Uganda. We are still in a collapsed state. We got to be real with the people. We have millions of our people are still unconscious. What is the state of the Moroccan Empire, Abdullah? She is in the hospital in a coma. Millions of her children are in subjugation state. They are classified as Black, Negro, colored, Latino, Spanish, Indian, Puerto Rican, etc. They're in a denationalized state. You got conscious Moorish study groups, conscious Moors bodies that are fighting each other for power. Conscious Moors claiming to have a state. This ones have a state. You don't need 5 people to have a state. It's utterly ridiculous. So we are, as when politically, you're talking about where you're talking about in a rightful state, we are superior. You're talking about inherent. You're talking about the inherent power. You're talking about the person who asked that question is referring to the rightful inherent sovereignty. However, we are still subjugated though. Sorry, let me give an example. I go to Najma's house. I chain her up. I chain Najma and her grandchildren up. It is her house, but she's not in control though. I am. Yes, it's Najma's house. Yes, Najma is the head of the house rightfully. She is rightfully the head of the house. Rightfully. But Najma is in a conquest subjugated state. I'm the head dog right now. I'm the head dog in Najma's house now. Najma's not the head dog. She's subjugated. She's bonded and chained. So yes, we are the head dog rightfully, as Najma is rightfully. She's the head one, but she's bounded and chained. Right? We got to be real with the people. We have not recovered our lost moral sovereignty. Najma, you got conscious Moors out there making a claim that we recovered our lost moral sovereignty. We have not. All right. If we recover our lost, hear me out. If we have recovered our lost moral sovereignty, you will not say United States no more. You would not even say it. They don't know what they're talking about, Najma. You will not see no star-spangled banners. Hear me out. You will not. They are conscious Moors who claim to establish a state, what they call Georgia, Colorado. That means you won't see those flags anymore. You won't see those flags. To recover means you won't see those flags anymore. Let's keep it real. We're playing with the people. 25 years. I'm going to speak out. I spent 25 years of my life from age 27 to 49. From age 27 to age 49 to age 50. Most of my adult life teaching a lie. Misconceptions to thousands of people. I will speak out. I will not be quiet. We're full of shit. Stop playing with the people, these conscious Moors. Stop playing with them. And recover our lost moral sovereignty. Playing with the people. Yes, I'm passionate because I spent 25 years of my adult life from age 27 to 49 teaching misconceptions to thousands of people. And I told Shem, I said, Shem, I'll be goddamn what I will, Tim. I will never teach another misconception again. Never. 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 I'm passionate about this. I really am, though. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not apologizing for how I'm saying things. I'm not. Because I really care about our people. I'm not apologizing.
All right, next statement. I can for a fact say that China has acknowledged us and operating under our gold-backed currency.
Oh my God. Here we go.
I'm reading the comments.
Go ahead. I know. Go ahead.
Okay.
Here we go. I know.
Our gold-backed currency declaration and submitting to their role as public officials.
Yes.
What is this person talking about?
All right. They're talking about, once again, bullshit.
Let me break this down. First of all, in order for China to go ahead and do any business with you, you have to be a member state of the United Nations, number one. Number two, you have to file a special resolution to recognize the record to China. Let them know that you're going to have your own currency. You got valuable belongings, gold, silver, copper, brass, commodities, and stuff like that. Then you go and join the BRICS. That's a central bank. That's a central settlement bank they got set up now that you can join and you can back your own currency now with gold and silver. Now, here's what the problem is. First of all, you said China acknowledged that you had war with the United States, number one, because the United States is your ally. That's number one. Morocco got a treaty with United States got a treaty with Morocco. So when you're dealing with China, you got to deal with China on the international level. You said China coming over here talking to you and sign a declaration with you. That means you saying that you exercise the authority of Morocco. I mean, you got power now to force councils. I mean, you got to notify all the governments, Spain, France, all the ministers of foreign affairs of all these nations. You gave me a letter, a government letter. Let them know you joined it, that you're a member, that you exercising your right to sovereignty, post-millennium, that you file an application with all your documents, your proclamation, your declaration of independence from all these de facto governments. You also notify them that you will now the letter of political legitimacy, that you're legitimate. That many governments got this now. So you're operating proper. And the next thing is, you do everything channeled through the United Nations. You in the United States don't know anything because you don't solve a body. The only thing about it is when you do that, you put yourself in conflict or war because the United States and China is not a good standing ground. For you to say that you got your own money system, you bringing death for wars. Because what happens when the United States say, wait, we got a problem here. You mean something China will come over here and the record of divorce, they got a treaty of divorce? That's a violation of a treaty with Spain. Spain, Spanish, the Spanish treaty, French, the English treaty, the United States treaty. That's a conflict. That means now you're in breach of contract now because you are the allies doing business with someone they consider as an enemy in your own land. I mean, we hear about treaty, they coming over here talking to you, and they are enemy. So this is a commerce war. So let me explain something's going on. We have to be real careful how we draw our lines. As I say, you have to know about government. Don't start talking this stuff and put the Moors in trouble. All you're going to do is put the Moors in danger. Getting drones, locking Moors up, that's conscious, unconscious. They're going to start bringing in drones, blow up your neighborhoods, trying to kill your more innocent Moors that don't know what the hell's going on because they're caught in this war because you say you do business with China. Now, when you make a statement like that, there's a proper way.
They just saying.
I understand that. My job is to say, listen, be very careful what you say out your mouth, please. Because these Moors are not conscious. They really know what's going on here. When you talk about them with the currency now, and you got the people that have been sureties of the United States for so long, you talk about now, you doing business with China. For all these people that stole their conquest. And you say now that I exercise the authority that Morocco had. Okay, I'm going to sign a treaty with China, a declaration. But how are you doing it? Are you representing the Moors? So if you say, I will say this, if you're a national government and you are recognized by a post-millennium, do have a right to do business with China. What I'm saying is that is done to us, a resolution signed by all the states of that national government, all the states in that National Parliament Council will agree to that resolution. They will sign on to that resolution, agreeing to what's done. When you say, well, we already got a deal going with China, okay, how about the other boys' governments here to solve it? They ain't signed up to that. They don't know nothing about that. What they know about that? So you saying, the hell with they sovereignty, I'm taking them over. They gonna do what I said do. They're gonna have monarchy. See, we gotta be real careful what we say do. Because
They just talking, Shem.
I still have to say though, it's very important.
No.
That I said.
No, Shem, you were right. Shem. I was wrong. I was wrong in my approach. You are right because you are presenting intellectually scholarly.
Echo and Abdullah. Oh, let me see.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, so feedback. Let me go out.
Somebody asked, are you a? Oh, I'm echoing. Oh.
Yeah, you're right. I can hear you good.
Somebody asked, I don't know what this word is. Are you a plenipotentiary? What is that?
Yeah, that means you given full authority by the head of that state. You got head authority. You got full authority appointed by the head of the state. The head of the state give you full authority to sign on their behalf and make decisions. But the head authority of that state, that government grants you full authority to act on their behalf. Now let me say something. When I first came to the knowledge of doing this the right way, back in 2012, I had a convention. I had about 400 people come all over the United States, all these different political jurisdictions of the states. Now, one thing I'm very careful on, that when I do something, I'm gonna do it with everybody. I didn't run for my own time. I'm assaulting, or I did this. I brought everybody in and realized that everybody got come together for the all national community. That's what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to be selfish. So what's going on is this here. When you say that we, who's this we? See, we gotta be careful. See, we not. See, this is why I say we still immature. When you say we, who is this we? All these more states out here that operate with a constitution. Some of them create their own map. Some of them create their own emblem, got their own geographical location, got their own parliament. When you say we, who's we? Is that the national government that came together and signed a treaty and ratified under one convention, one constitution, operating capacity in Morocco? Then you can say we. When you say we, well, you talking about yourself claiming dominion over all the more territories without their knowledge? Come on, we gotta stop doing this. We gotta be real careful what we say. Because it's not gonna help us, it's gonna hurt us. Well, we just did something with China. Okay. You did something with China. China will come in here. You don't have a farm. You don't fish. You don't raise any animals. You don't have no 400,000 or 500,000 acres of land to feed these Moors. You don't have no mint to make your money. You don't have no depository to hold your precious metals. And you don't have an army, a standing army. So what do you have? Let's stop playing with each other. What do you have? I gotta keep this real. I gotta tell the truth. What do you have? Come on now. You can't protect these matriarch women, raising their children the proper way. What you gonna do? You said we. Who's we? I don't know, who's this we? When I start teaching Professor Abdullah, I didn't come on and say we. I start teaching me, Abdullah, the people how to assemble themselves together as an assembly and form government. I ain't say we follow us. No, we're gonna show you how to do it, and we all come together and follow each other. When you start saying we sign thing with China, got our own money, who is this we? Do the other Moors governments know this? Are they part of that Parliament Council? Did they voted on this? Because what you're going to have is this right here. You're going to have them attacking the Moors with drones. Yes, they're going to do it. Come right in these cities, and the Moors are scared already. They're sad, but what they going to do? They don't have no farms. They have no food chain. They don't have no mint. They don't have no depository to hold their gold. They're not mining nothing. They're not even underwrite nothing. They don't tell you, what we got? We got a standing army? This is for real now. This is real serious. We don't have a stand. Go ahead.
I thank you for that. I appreciate you. Shem intelligently. I didn't do that. I didn't dress it intelligently. Shem
You're still echoing.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask another question. I'm echoing too. I said,
Yeah.
I don't know what this is about.
1, 2, 3. That's fine. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Hello?
I'm still echoing. Shem is not though.
Right. Shem?
Yes.
I'm going to ask another question.
Yes, go ahead.
Would it be accurate to say that the Act of Algiers, 1906, is the blueprint and or reference point for the pre-existing obligations to Morocco last wars? It speaks to banking, policing, and our currency.
Yes, the Act of Algiers will also be tied into the AT-80 Act. The reason why, because all the parent nations, the same nations that's member states of the United Nations right now, signed them acts. The Act of AT-80 and the Act of 1906, Act of Algiers. And yes, they have an obligation to help us out in banking, our police. The only problem is we not operate as a national government. So when we go there and say, you know what? If you don't come under what we doing, we already went there and did this. If you don't do this, you can't be recognized. You're not for the Moors. You'll get some Moors. Because I didn't do that. And matter of fact, I can lay that claim more than any of y'all. Because I didn't know about this in 2011. I can lay this claim faster than any of y'all. Y'all didn't know nothing about this. Professor Abdullah told this. You didn't know that. Now all of a sudden, nobody can't do nothing as they come to you. What's going on with this stuff? Where did this come from? This is very diabolical here. I didn't do that. I wasn't selfish like that. My job was, me and Abdullah's job was to teach everybody to come together, form an assembly among themselves, form a map out their political jurisdiction and community and houses. Now you notice something. In the Act of Algiers, right? Protect Morocco, you ever notice that the houses also assigned the House of Barons, the House of Dukes. These houses are considered as part of monarchy. They're part of nations, nationhood. Statehood. So we not mature yet. They don't go to see what. Don't you see what they did? All the nations came together and formed the act. We have not done this. So how can you say we did this? We haven't done anything because there was no convention. No national convention to sign an act among ourselves or treaty among ourselves. So what you say is that I'm gonna do this and you will get down, lay down. You know, different ambiance. No different ambiance.
Like state property.
Yep. Get down or lay down. And this is the problem when you take your pearls and cast your pearls before swines. A swine get it and trample on them. They don't take it for value. Anybody take what me Abdullah been teaching since 2019 for value, you won't be talking like this. Kamir Abdullah was not talking like this. And you didn't find nobody in the Moors community that came with this consciousness, this heavy consciousness of waking the Moors up to become governors. You was not. You was not. Don't lie. You was not. If you just go back to, you can't go back 2 years or so when you out there teaching about government, reforming government classes or forming government structure, assemblies, communities together. You can't show it. There's no works. But yet, maybe Abdullah was not selfish to say, you can't do this. What we said, what we're going to teach you to get on a level like we is. See, me Abdullah said, if once you keep explaining to you what to do, once you come back and help us out now, tell us what we got to do. Can you make a mistake? Tell us what we got to do now. That's what we did. We was not selfish. We believe in helping our people out. She said, come together and form one national imperial parliament council. Once we form that, sign a treaty, and ratify one constitution, and we up and running. And look what happened. Lo and behold, all our pearls got trampled on by swine.
Rockin' Post Media YouTube page. We got the Voice Body Politics Foundation classes. Rockin' Post Media YouTube page. Yep. 2000, March 2021. 2021. We did six 12 classes. Rockin' Post Media YouTube page. We got the most protection across. We got courses on there for y'all to develop, bro.
I haven't seen nobody come and say, you know what? I think Brother Shem Abdullah, from that, I went ahead to the United Nations and did a 4-leg running for thank them brothers. And now we're doing a convention and a treaty because all the one number that I got for the national government. Now, when a brother say that, I know he's working with light inside. He got light. He don't have darkness inside of it. Now, one brother or sister or one more government have ever came back and said, you know what? We went to the national convention, we'll sign a treaty. So we can come political legitimacy among ourselves. So that will be in peace with each other. There's no conflict. We got each other back on our own sovereignty. Yet I hear brothers and sisters say, I did this. I went here and did this. You can't do this. They're not gonna recognize you. Y'all just tearing down wars. Yes, you didn't learn this yourself. Somebody taught you. Where you get that mindset from? Where it come from? Where do it come from? You ain't helping nobody doing that anyway, because you don't know what you're doing yourself. I'm finished. Go ahead, dude.
No, I got the echo. You gotta lead the way. This mention the Rockin' Post YouTube page. You see it posted. And my website is TV-DMV.org. Are we another question, Najee?
I'm looking. It's a lot of
we got quite a few people. All right, that's good.
Yeah. Let's see. This exactly what our people do. More farming on wars. We need unity. Let's see. This said you can be well herself in treaties, etc., and at law. But you jump to conclusions and refuted my inquiries based on emotion instead of examining my position.
I didn't.
I don't know where that come from. What was the question? What was the question?
No, this is the same person. And I don't know if it's a man or woman, but he's saying the same, listening to his position. And
can you explain it? Can you explain the position? What position is he talking about?
He was the one that made, he or she was the one that made the comment about China.
Okay. I made a statement that how are you gonna be a more state in a treaty? Morocco's in a treaty, the United States, France, Spain, and Great Britain. China was not ceded land to be over here. You gonna go to China and say we're gonna do currency transfers and disrupt the United States currency flow in their own political jurisdiction. So if you're doing that, I'm helping you. I'm telling you, this to you, please hit me real good. You better have a standing army because they'll come and get you. Yes, they'll come and knock on your door. Everybody gonna look at you while they drag you out. The marshals, and nobody gonna help you. And you go right to a courtroom talking about you solve it. No council, no more government, no council jurisdiction. Nobody go to the central authority for you. but you doing business. What I'm saying is this right here. When you're doing stuff like this, let's do it all at one fist as one national government. That way we do it the proper way, through a resolution. We join the BRICS as the national government.
Someone said I've been in this movement for over 10 years, and Shem and Abdullah are some of the only honorable names in the movement I've experienced. Shout out to Shem and Abdullah. Someone said China actually recognizes currency.
All right, let's go back. Should we go back to the same thing? All right, what's the name of the currency you got? And what is it backed by? The person made that statement. What's the name of the currency and what is it backed by?
You're doing a wonderful job, Shem. I'm taking some points.
He said he or she said gold back.
Okay, what's the name of the currency? It's gold back what? Like Zimbabwe got their own money. Zimbabwe, their nation, China's got their own name for their dollar. Denmark got their own name for their money. Italians got their name for their money. What's the name of your money? Is it a prince?
She said it's by lien of all gold in the U.S. and lobby factually on record.
I don't understand. What do you mean all gold? And you told, let's go to the treaties. Now let me answer this. Let's go to the treaty. Now, according to the treaty, Morocco say the peso. That's a Spanish currency that the Moors also put as this instead of peso. Now the little Nappy boys say the pence, called the pence. They had a dollar called the pence, the ancient pence. They go back to Persia, Syrian, Egypt, all had their own name for their own currency. So if you say you got a currency backed by gold, what's the name of that currency? Moroccan what? The Moroccan, what's the name of the coin? Or the tender? What's the name of it? And who's the central bank? What's central bank going through? Who's going to operate as a central bank for the more discharge their debt go through? Who? What bank they going to use?
He's teaching government.
What's the central bank? What's the government bank tied to? Who's the central bank and government tied to?
My man. He's teaching government. I'm loving this.
I'm not trying to make nobody look bad. I'm trying to show you, explain to you that we got
teaching our people.
Anything?
He or she said that we use our autograph to authenticate it.
Okay, not now, but when you say that, I know what you're dealing with now. You're dealing with the same thing the European patriots, the European patriot community is dealing with. They sign, even though your autograph, your signature is your autograph, is everything on a piece of paper because it's your design, it's your sculpture, it's your pattern of design identify you. What I'm saying, you say your signature, but what's going back your signature up? What's back in the signature up? On paper. What's back in your signature up on that paper? What's back in that paper up, your signature?
This is good, man.
Well, in other words, where's the 4 favorite credit of the people coming from? If somebody have 4 favorite credit and using your tender, who the 4 favorite credits in? What's that government? What's the name of the government? And who's the protector? When the instrument is not honored, where's your court at to enforce the instrument? Where's your military at? And where's your legal team to force that paper? if a dispute happened over that currency, who's going to file in the Hague World Court your claim or your currency protection? Who's the government that's the obligee for the guarantor? Who's the obligee? That's the principal. Who is the protector? If something go wrong with any deal that you got with China, and China default on you, what government you got that will go to the world, to the Hague, and bring China up on violation of a commerce contract to the Department of International Affairs, International Commerce, for breach of contract? What's the government? What government you got? What national government that's standing in the place of Morocco that's going to enforce that?
This is good, man.
And who's the central bank that's going to be responsible for all your settlements in dispute, settlement of that currency? That means you're using that currency as local currency here in Morocco. And if you're using it, that means it'll be available to the Moors to discharge debt among themselves. Forgive the United States. That means the Moors should be able to take that money and discharge debt among themselves. And the currency can put into a United States bank, licensed bank, and be traded and legal tender based on a treaty or international contract.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Because first of all, if that's true, if the United States is not a principal here in Morocco, neither can China be. France won that case a long time ago. So that means you violated the Protected Treaty. You bring in a foreign nation state, you do a conference with them and disregard all the treaties on currency. So you violate your own more treaties. And you violate Act Algiers, because Act Algiers say that the European states is supposed to help us out with our banking. And that was enforced in the 1912 Treaty of Fez. That means they're obligated to help us with our banking. So if you bring China in here and sign an agreement, you violate your own treaty.
Damn, Mr. Man.
Anything else? Any more comments?
I'll salute you. I'm gonna do this.
Now,
I'm gonna salute you. I'll salute you, brother. Awesome. Thank you.
Remember, this is not to make nobody look bad. This is to help us out. See, I need you with that same mind, being on a proper balance, so we help each other out. That's why I'm doing this.
Absolutely. That's why you've been teaching me. Absolutely.
Anything else?
No. The last thing I see is we don't need the U.S. bank. We need us to operate.
Now let me say something. I want to say something. Now I'm going to go to the meat to this right here. You don't have to sign a treaty with China to do your currency. United States and France and all these European nations are already in commitment. All their treasuries are committed to what? Enforcing your instruments. So you can open a direct account with any of these. And when you got a state, a Moroccan state, and we all come together, one national government, we're going to any one of these treaty nations and open up a direct account with their treasury and force all the obligations to that treasury. And guess what? They're liable. They have to take your instrument and enforce them. Under their stand, their money system. Because that money system they got came from the Moors. So let's say you got a Moors government, you say, I'm going to join the French treasury, I'm going to say all my finances and my obligations to the French. You can do that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. and use the French currency. Yes, you can. You know why? The French is doing business in Morocco, so that money operating inside Morocco was approved to be circulating in Morocco. Therefore, you can use it as a contracting party, a third party. You can use it. Now I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do it the proper way. Using United States Treasury, all these treasuries, Great Britain, Germany, all these nations signed these acts in the 1880 Act Algiers. Yes, all these nations, you go to their treasury and force the International Convention Act through their country. You can force it. And guess what? And use their currency in place until you get your currency in place. That's how we do it. We got a lot of benefits on the table if you just be taught and know what's going on here. They work for you. They're your employees. They work for you. They're Morocco. They work for you.
This is I got to watch this one again. I got to watch this. This is good. This is good.
Yes. The United States Treasury, the British Treasury, all these treasuries, Italy, all these nations that signed treaties with Morocco, signed the acts of Morocco, all their treasuries can work for you. They're your employees. You work all your instruments, your paper securities, and liquidate them to electronic funds through them. And guess what? And still have your immunity. The organization still have immunity under CFR. You still are immune, protected. You don't have to go out and sign a thing with China. All you have to do is just go ahead and enforce the treaties, the acts, and you can do what you want to do. Protect your people. There are certain things that our mother signed before she went in that coma. Our mother signed all these documents. Our mother's in a coma. We were working with them. We were screaming, crying. Now our mother will wake up. So what we do? We go out there as the heir and enforce the obligations that our mother signed. We enforce them. We are children. We enforce them. Anything else?
No.
I'm gonna salute you, brother. I salute you.
Closing remarks, Shem.
Let's not lose the love and respect we got for one another. That's the key thing. Everything. Listen to me, please. Everything revolves around the feminine principle of the mother. A mother got all the affections. Let's stop having too much masculine control of the lion. Want to be at war all the time. Want to control all the feminine. You can't do that. Just let the feminine be the feminine. Let the masculine be the masculine. Our mothers, Morocco, signed obligations and put us in place where we can benefit from all these investments and rewards that she signed. All we have to do is become mature and enforce what our mother left for us. If she stay in a coma, she never wake up. We still is able to enforce the obligations that she signed, meaning the contracts. We still can enjoy her wealth. It's not a man or woman whose mother is wealthy and the father is wealthy and gets sick and in a coma, that child cannot enforce that wealth. The child can use that wealth, the estate, as they see fit. While the mother and father is into a dead state. When the child, mother, and father die and go to the graveyard, child, father, mother, are no conscious. So what does the child do? The child forced all the wealth. The child forced the possessions, the wealth, the liabilities, the obligations, contract obligations that the mother and father entered into. All they own, all their possessions, the child forced that. You got to claim that. In order to claim it, you got to claim to be part of the mother and father. And that's what we have not been doing. If we get to the place to love, we get to love, charity, truth, contract, and honor, and justice. We there. Because you can't write a contract unless it's written in truth. If the contract is written in truth, proper language, it got to be honored. If it's not honored, then you seek justice. Truth, contract, honor, and justice.
Thank you, Shem. Abdullah, any closing remarks?
I got an echo going on.
Well, a one
All right.
sentence.
Go to Rock Media YouTube page for our body politics classes and the Moroccan Jewish protection and conservation courses. And then my books, go to motivation.org. They've been thrown across me long. Watch this again, y'all. This is some good stuff. Shem, you did a wonderful job. Thank you. You elevated me and being able to properly answer those questions. Thank you. I will be looking at this again.
My TV, love everyone. Until next week, stay in love.
Yes.